Hello, students. Welcome to Super Grads, and I am your English mentor, Sana Jaffrey. So, what is your reaction when you look an image like this? Something which is replete with lofty words. Are you baffled, perplexed, bewildered, or are you befuddled, flummoxed, flabbergasted? Yes, आप सोच रहे होंगे मैम को क्या हो गया, कैसे कैसे वर्ड्स बोल रही हैं. All right, ये तैयारी है आज के सेशन की. Today we will be taking up 100 words. Yes, you heard me right. In this one session, in fact, if you sit down and count, there'll be slightly more than 100 words, right? एक bonanza है आपके लिए, आपकी vocabulary को boost करने के लिए. So there have been a lot of rant among, students, especially those who are about to write NMAT and SNAP, that there's so much of vocabulary coming in these examinations. And madam, what do? कहाँ से वर्ड्स लें, कैसे वर्ड्स याद करें. We are totally, as I say, flummoxed. We don't know what to do. So we are here to serve you in a platter a wonderful assortment of words, cherry-picked, curated very carefully, keeping in mind high-frequency words that have come or that have appeared in your examinations year after year. So I'm very sure this compendium is going to help you a lot. अब ये समझो कि स्ट्रैटेजी क्या होनी चाहिए. वर्ड्स कहाँ से करें तो भाई मैं आपको बता रही हूँ. 100 वर्ड्स तो अभी के अभी इस सेशन में कराएंगे, लेकिन वर्ड्स को करने का एक तरीका होता है. आई थिंक in our previous session, somewhere or the other, we have covered umpteen strategies for your vocabulary development, among which root words is one very effective strategy. But the problem with root words is that they are limited. जो भी वर्ड्स आपके एग्जाम में आ रहे हैं, जो भी वर्ड्स आप रीड करने में भी देख रहे हो, हर वर्ड को रूट से हम नहीं पढ़ सकते. कई वर्ड्स की रूट्स उतनी नोन नहीं है, और अगर पता भी चल रहा है तो उसका बेनिफिट नहीं है, बिकॉज एक रूट से कोई एक आध वर्ड आ रहा है. So it's not very beneficial. So root words has its own limitations as a strategy. Second thing that I often talk about is mnemonics, like memory aids. Words को याद करो किस तरीके से, कोई ना कोई memory aid बना के, right? But this is not possible with every word. And if you try to memorize words making an aid, well, you'll have to remember that mnemonic too. It's not that difficult where it's easily done. But हर word के साथ में करना वो possible नहीं है, तो क्या करें? In this limited amount of time, when our exam is around the corner, what is the best resort? Obviously, a very strategic approach here would be to club the words together to form clusters. And a direct advantage of this is going to be that it will expedite the process. हम अपने vocab development को speed up करना चाहते हैं. We want to make it more organized, more strategic. And so this is the best way. सिंपल सी चीज है, आज आपके सामने लेके आई हूँ 10 clusters, right? Clusters मतलब group of words related to a theme. Most of these words are actually synonyms. I will give you a special commentary of whichever words I feel like, explaining deeper, more or less. Related words हैं, clustered around a common theme, right? So are you ready with your pen and paper? You have to jot down all these words, right? And जो मैं आपको टास्क दूंगी, आपको कमेंट सेक्शन में लिखना है, राइट? टास्क्स वुड बी अराउंड सेंटेंस क्रिएशन, राइट? यू विल हैव टू फॉर्म सेंटेंसेस यूजिंग अ पर्टिकुलर वर्ड, जो भी मैं आपको बताऊंगी, राइट? सो यू हैव टू पार्टिसिपेट. पैसिव लर्नर्स जो होते हैं वो ज्यादा बेनिफिट नहीं करते, तो बी एक्टिव लर्नर्स ऑलवेज. एंड लेट्स डाइव इन दिस वंडरफुल वर्ल्ड ऑफ वर्ड्स. सो द फर्स्ट वन इज गिविंग अप. कोई भी चीज छोड़ देना, गिव अप करना, राइट? तो गिविंग अप एनीथिंग, समथिंग और समवन, राइट? एंड कितने प्यारे वर्ड्स, भारी वर्ड्स. डोंट यू गेट स्कैर्ड. एक साथ याद करोगे तो इजी हो जाएगा, राइट? अबैंडन, कोई चीज को डिसोन कर देना या गिव अप कर देना. एन अबैंडन्ड हाउस, ही वाज अबैंडन्ड राइट इन द चाइल्डहुड. ओके. सीड, अ वेरी कॉमन वर्ड. सरेंडर करना, ठीक है? Renounce is a very important word. Renounce is to give up, especially power, जैसे kings वगैरह करते थे, or even their duties and obligations. When you give up your duties and obligation, आप वो करना छोड़ देते हो, you renounce it. Disavow, refuse to acknowledge. Disclaim knowledge of, मेरे को तो पता ही नहीं है, नहीं इससे मेरा कुछ लेना देना नहीं. I kind of disown something. right? Forsake, abandon, turn one's back on. When you specially forsake happiness, करते हैं कई बार लोग, है ना, मतलब कि एकदम सेल्फ डिनायल मोड में चले जाते हैं। कोई भी अच्छी चीजें जो है मोस्टली व्हेन दे आर इन डिप्रेशन और मे बी व्हेन दे वांट टू सफर, वो फोरसेक करते हैं चीजों को। लोग बाग कई बार दे फोरसेक रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज, दे गिव अप ऑन देयर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज, राइट? तो सिमिलर है ये, दे आर ऑल सिनोनिम्स इन अ वे। रिजाइन, दैट वी ऑलरेडी नो, सरेंडर, दैट वी ऑलरेडी नो। तो ये तो कोई इतने नए वर्ड्स नहीं है आपके लिए। relinquish is nice, abnegate is nice, abdicate, repudiate are lovely expressions. repudiate is slightly different, देखेंगे क्या? relinquish, voluntarily cease to keep or claim, give up, वही voluntarily, खुद से छोड़ दिया हमने। nobody has asked us, nobody has forced us, we ourselves gave up on something. ओके, एबनेगेट, ये आप नेग से याद रखोगे, एक्चुअली इसकी रूट ही नेग है, नेगेटिव, निगेट करना, ठीक है ना? तो एबनेगेट व्हेन यू रिजेक्ट समथिंग और यू रिनाउंस समथिंग, व्हेन यू गिव अप समथिंग। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, ही अटेम्प्ट्स टू एबनेगेट पर्सनल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, किसी चीज की जिम्मेदारी लेना ही नहीं है, एबनेगेशन, ठीक है? abdicate, give up power, position और responsibility. Normally किसी position की बात होती है तो ज्यादा हम abdicate word को use करते हैं। repudiate, refuse to accept, reject करना, repudiate. In your examination, you may have this question like, which of the options repudiates the author's argument? मतलब which one rejects? All right? यानी कि basically ये weakening the argument का question है। So I hope this cluster, all of them were synonyms primarily, right? कुछ यहाँ पे ज्यादा deviation नहीं था, so there's not much to discuss. Now I want you to make a sentence on the word relinquish. Relinquish पे sentence you have to write in the comment section. I will be looking forward to it. Wow, nice. Now, all these words that I have taken up are very important words. They are high frequency words, trust me. तो यहाँ पे देखो, something which is false, जो चीज नकली है, artificial है, that is intending to deceive you, right? तो ये false है. All those things which are actually fake. Here is a nice list. And yes, there's something important enough to discuss. Pretend. When you pretend, you actually feign. हम सबको पता है pretension क्या होता है। हम कोई चीज pretend कर रहे हैं, हम बन रहे हैं, है ना? We are doing something. We're trying to make people believe something which is not true. And our intention is to deceive or to misrepresent, right? Bogus, we all know, to make a copy of. It's mostly fraud. Phony is fraudulent, having a misleading appearance. Dissimulate is the same as dissemble. Please don't you get confused between dissemble and disassemble, right? तो आप ये समझो कि what is dissimulate or dissemble? To hide feelings from other people. आपकी जो genuine feeling है वो तो आप छुपा रहे हो, and you're putting up a facade. Okay, you try to pretend or you try to act in a different way, which is not real. So you're faking it up. All right? एक बंदा है, उसका सिलेक्शन नहीं होता है IIM में, right? और उसके दोस्त का हो जाता है. Now he's feeling very envious. He's feeling jealous, in fact. But then when he's invited to his celebration party, then of course he's dissimulating his feeling and pretending to be very happy on his success. This is dissembling or dissimulating, right? Ersatz. Ersatz is something which is artificial and mostly cheap. कोई भी चीज की imitation या copy जो होती है, वो जाहिर सी बात है inferior in quality होती है. Ersatz is an important word. This has come in your exam. Dissemble, we have already discussed. Fictitious, something which is nakli, which is not real, which is formed either by imagination. Fiction से ये बना है, fictitious. So it is not real, okay? Counterfeit, we often say counterfeit currency. You must have heard this expression, counterfeit currency, मतलब जाली नोट. ये क्या होता है? forged है, artificially concocted है, ये real नहीं है, genuine नहीं है. Imitation of course है, deceive करना चाह रहे हो आप. Sham. What is sham? A thing that is not what it is purported to be. The peace talks are just sham. नकली है, धोखा है, ये बताना चाह रहे हैं आपको, but ये genuine नहीं है, right? Okay. Fraudulent, denoting fraud. Facade is a very nice word. A facade word आप कैसे याद रख सकते हो? You can remember it with the word face. You're wearing a face mask. चेहरे पे कुछ है, दिल में कुछ है. तो facade is actually a deceptive outward appearance. Okay? Don't fall for her oily tongue. Okay? Oily tongue कहते हैं ना, someone who is glib and who is trying to manipulate you. Such people coax you, they persuade you, their language is full of rhetoric. So we say don't fall for her sweet talks. It's just a facade that she puts on. Right? Behind that mask, there is a very hard-hearted and baleful person. Right? Okay. Facade का actually एक और मतलब होता है, the front side of a building. तो front face, face तो front में ही होता है. तो इस तरह से हम याद रख सकते हैं face of the building. Right? Masquerade. Another very nice word. And इसको हम mask से याद रखेंगे. तो ये जो मैं आपको बता रही हूँ, face, mask, ये क्या है? These are mnemonics that I keep talking about. Word को किसी भी तरीके से, किसी ना किसी चीज से relate करके उसको याद करने की कोशिश करना, so that there are anchors in your memory, right? Masquerade is a false show or pretense, as we say. Okay? So again, masquerade noun भी होता है और verb भी होता है. All right? It's a masquerade भी बोल सकते हो आप, या she always masquerades and so you don't get to know her real self. Okay? So she's not a very credible person. Somebody masquerading is constantly trying to pretend and putting up a false show. Guise, a deceptive appearance. आजकल बहुत ज्यादा हो रहा है, you know, that people are looting others under the guise of someone else. They're impersonating someone. आपके घर में कोई वो होता है, वो एक फिल्म थी, स्पेशल 26 थी, क्या थी? I'm bad with movie names. तो वहां पे अक्षय कुमार and his team, they are in the guise of CBI inspectors and वो छापे मारते हैं और लोगों से खूब सारे पैसे ले लेते हैं, right? So this is guise. Semblance. What is semblance? The outward appearance or apparent form of something, especially when the reality is different. So guise and semblance are synonyms. I hope you have understood this really well. I want you to make a sentence on semblance. Class, it's very important that when you learn words in clusters, understand that all of them will never be synonyms, 100% synonyms. In fact, synonyms भी जब आप देखते हो तो उनमें shade of meaning थोड़ा थोड़ा अलग होता है. But that's absolutely okay. Does not matter much. You just have to understand one very basic thing. Try to always try to understand the denotation well and then see a sample sentence. उस word का meaning क्या है? और एक दो sample sentence जब तुम देखते हो ना, you become very comfortable with the word. You get to know how the word is used, right? So I hope these words related to false or related to deceiving are very, very clear to you. Let's move over to the next cluster. Oh, so this is something that I really like. All right. बहुत easy words हैं, इसमें से कई words आपको already पता होंगे. So these are the words related to passion. Even for your preparation, for making it to IIMs, you definitely need a lot of passion, right? So a common word, zeal, सबको पता होगा, being zealous. Another word, zest. Zeal क्या है? Strong passion for something, very, very strong enthusiasm and keenness for doing something, right? Zest. You say zestful. When someone is full of zest, zest is the noun form, zestful is adjective. Enthusiastic enjoyment. You have the zeal and the zest in you. Pep. Keen excitement, gusto. We say someone is very peppy, they're very excited, they're frisky, they're lively. Okay. In fact, I had a kitten that was very cute and frisky, very playful, very lively, and I named him Peppy. Okay. Ardor. What is ardor? Ardent. You must have heard this expression, an ardent follower of somebody or something. Ardent, right? Again, very passionate, fervent. We even say fervid. Both are acceptable. Again, very passionate, right? Strong enthusiasm है किसी चीज को लेके, बड़ा जोश है, बड़ा जज्बा है, ठीक है. Vitality, energy, spirit, spunk. We even say spunky. Very lively, very bubbly, bubbling with enthusiasm. Oomph is also pep, energy. All right, elan, enthusiasm, vigor, liveliness. Elan is also associated with style and grace. Elan. Okay. तो थोड़ा सा इसका एक दूसरा मतलब भी है. It's not just enthusiasm. It's also associated with style, grace. Okay. Gusto is a nice word. Enjoyment and enthusiasm in doing something. Avid, avid learner, avid reader. This is almost like a collocation. He's an avid reader. Verve, vigor, spirit, enthusiasm. I think verve कोई कॉस्मेटिक की ब्रांड भी है, if I'm not mistaken. वर्व कोई तो प्रोडक्ट का नाम है. तो when you have all that vitality, strength, vigor क्या होता है? Strength होता है. तो सारे words एक साथ याद करो. और please always remember that in your examinations you get questions on synonyms and antonyms and sometimes odd words out. So obviously, even if you know a word and if you don't learn its synonyms, don't you expect the meaning written in very simple words as options. Options आपको एकदम simple meaning में नहीं आएंगे यार. अगर आपको word दिया है gallant तो option में आपको brave नहीं मिलेगा. या option में ये नहीं मिलेगा one who exhibits courage and bravery. No. You'll get options like valiant. Right? So आपको synonyms आते हैं, इसलिए आपको synonyms को prepare करना पड़ेगा. Right? Very interesting cluster, being stubborn and inflexible. Let's kind of ace up our speed so that we can do maximum coverage. Okay, so ये वो सारे लोग हैं जो बड़े जिद्दी होते हैं, बड़े अड़ियल होते हैं, and they don't budge no matter what, and they don't listen, and they're very adamant. We already know adamant. We know stubborn. We already know obstinate. Because these are very common words. We've been using them right from childhood, I'm sure. But then there are some nice, interesting new words for you that are worth remembering. Okay, so here we go. Intractable. We even have a word which is called tractable. So when someone is tractable, they are manageable, they can be controlled. But if you are intractable, you cannot be controlled, you cannot be managed, right? So these are the people who are very difficult to manage or mold. Is this clear? Will you remember this? Unappeasable. Un is a negative prefix. Appease is किसी को खुश करना, please करना. Able is a suffix which denotes that the word is an adjective. Unappeasable, someone who is never easily pleased, and so they are slightly difficult. They are not appeased, they are not placated. So unappeasable slightly different है meaning में. Not a direct synonym of adamant and stubborn, but so long as you know the difference in the shades of the words and all that, it's perfectly fine to club them together in a cluster. So you have all the leeway to include words as per your choice, as long as you're very clear with the word meanings, right? वो मिलते जुलते हैं इसलिए उनको क्लब आप कर सकते हो. Intransigent. वो लोग जो टस से मस नहीं होते, कितना ही तुम उनके आगे रिक्वेस्ट कर लो, हाथ जोड़ लो, but no, they don't budge, right? Impervious to please, persuasion. You try to persuade them, you try to convince them, they are not going to listen to you. Such are intransigent people. Unyielding, not giving way to pressure or persuasion. Such people are obdurate. Obdurate simply means stubborn. When you refuse to change your opinion or your course of action, right? That is you are obdurate. Unyielding, yeah, we already know that. Inexorable is also someone that, very similar to that, जो unstoppable है. Inexorable, unstoppable है, अड़ता, अड़ जाता है वो, नहीं मेरे को ये करना है, मैं तो ये करके रहूंगा, फिर वो किसी की नहीं सुनता. Inexorable slightly can have a positive meaning, depends on the context, right? Obstinate, we already know. Ziddi. Recalcitrant, again, direct synonym. Recalcitrant, obstinate, obdurate, adamant, direct synonyms. Mulish. प्लान नहीं चेंज करें, किसी की बात नहीं सुनेंगे. Bull-headed. एक बुल होता है ना, जब उसने डिसाइड कर लिया कि मुझे करना है, दीवार तोड़ देगा वो, लेकिन मानेगा नहीं, सुनेगा नहीं. So someone who's bull-headed, they don't listen. And they are very, very adamant and stubborn. Okay, so I hope you can actually remember these words easily. Mulish, you can connect with a mule. Okay, and इस तरह से कि मतलब वो भी जो कर रहे हैं करे जा रहे हैं kind of creatures होते हैं, right? So I hope all these words are clear. I hope there's absolutely no confusion. Can you please make a sentence out of recalcitrant? Write to us in the comment section. Hamesha, whenever you try to learn a word, make sure you know how to frame sentences using the word, because usage is the most important thing. The words that you constantly use, they stay with you, right, in your active memory. Words related to praise. Okay. अब बारी आती है थोड़ी सी प्रेज की. तो अच्छी अच्छी बातें भी होना चाहिए, right? When you appreciate someone, when you shower them with praise and plaudits, this is a cluster which you may need in such situations, right? Acclaim. Someone, when you're trying to praise them, especially publicly, हम कहते हैं ना, he's an acclaimed artist, right? काफी renowned है, काफी चर्चित है, उनकी बहुत प्रशंसा हुई है. Acclaim. Commendation. Even when we say to commend someone, this is the verb form. When we say commendable, this is a commendable job, मतलब praiseworthy. Commendable becomes an adjective and commendation becomes a noun. So this is all word play. These are all paronyms as we call them, right? Formal or official praise, commendation. Plaudit, again, plaudit is praise. In fact, when you look at this word plaud, applause or plaud, it means praise. अब आप देखिए, applause. Give him a big round of applause. What does this mean? Clap for the person, right? Applaud. To applaud, this becomes a verb form. When you applaud someone, right? आप उनकी क्या करते हो? तारीफ करते हो. तो यहाँ पे हम ऐड कर दें applaud. ठीक है. और फिर एक और वर्ड from the same root बनता है, that is laudatory. Laudatory. Appreciative. Very often you will find this word in RC tones. What is the tone? It's laudatory, because the author is through and through all praises for something, right? So he's laudatory. He's appreciating, right? Approbation in general means approval, but can also mean praise. Approbatory. Signaling approval or agreement. Eulogy is very important. Eulogy is very, very important. It is something, maybe a speech or maybe a write-up, which appreciates someone, especially when the person is dead. हम कहते हैं ना कि जैसे इंसान मरता है तो सब उसकी तारीफें करने लग जाते हैं. जब वो जिंदा था तब तो उसका जीना आराम कर दिया था. Okay, jokes apart. So mostly when someone dies, there's a kind of a tribute which is given to the person, and that is called eulogy. But in general, आज की डेट में आप eulogy को बोल सकते हो कि it is, to eulogize someone is to appreciate them and to, praise them. Fine, simple. Extol. Highly praise someone. Don't you confuse it with the word exalt. Exalt का मतलब होता है किसी को exalt करना is to glorify the person. Why do we exalt the self-proclaimed God men? जैसे बहुत सारे बाबा वगैरह हैं जिनको हमने exalt किया हुआ है. We almost glorify them, we almost defy them, we treat them as idols, as gods, whereas they're humans like us, right? Okay. Panegyric is a public speech, again, tareef, raving reviews. When you rave for someone, you're mad about them, right? You appreciate them, admire them so much. Encomium, इसी से बनना encomiastic. Encomium again is a very enthusiastic praise. तो synonyms ही तो है सारे के सारे. It is so simple. Let's move to the next one. Words related to guess. थोड़ा सा स्पीड मारना पड़ेगी भाई साहब, थोड़ा सा हम स्लो हो रहे हैं. The words related to guess. Hunch. When you have that hunch, it's your intuition. Okay. Sometimes managers take decision as per their hunches, on the basis of their hunches. It was a hunch, it was an intuition, it was not based on facts. Okay. Conjecture. Conjecture क्या होती है? It's an opinion or conclusion formed on the basis of incomplete information. It's a half-baked conclusion. It is a conclusion which is not based on very solid premises, right? Hypothesis, very important word. Hypothesis. मैं कहती हूँ कच्ची थियोरी है ये, अभी ये वेरीफाई नहीं हुई है, right? Supposition or proposed explanation made on the basis of limited evidence as a starting point for further investigation. सबसे पहले हम जब भी कोई रिसर्च करते हैं, the first thing that we do is we make a hypothesis, because this is something that we believe is true. We want to prove this to be true, and then we undergo the research, and then if our hypothesis gets accepted, then it becomes a theory. Simple, right? Ballpark figure is an estimate. It's a rough numerical estimate. It's an approximation of something. This is the ballpark figure for our annual sales. मतलब हमारे हिसाब से हमारी 1 crore का turnover हो जाएगा. That's a ballpark figure, right? Surmisal. What is a surmise? To surmise is to guess. Notion. अब notion अलग है. Notion is not a guess, but इसको include कर दिया गया है. ठीक है, आप चाहो इसको अलग कर सकते हो. Notion is an idea or a belief. Postulation. To postulate again is to it's a suggestion or assumption. Speculation, we all know. To speculate is to guess, है ना? We all know that, right? Shot. Taking shots, making shots. Again, attempting to do something. आप थोड़ा सा आप skilled in you, but you know, you're taking shots at it, you're trying to do something. You are like, in a way, ये भी थोड़ा सा different है. मतलब आप एक तरह से guess ले रहे हो. You're not very well versed with the right way of doing something, right? I hope this is clear. Next one, fights and quarrels. Okay, that's what we see all around us in this world. So we must have the right words for it. Wrangle. Wrangle is a fight or an argument. Altercation. Word power में DC पता है तो altercation पता होगा. और altercation जो है, इसका क्या मतलब होता है? It's a noisy quarrel. Comes from the root alter, which means other. A heated argument. बहस हो गई, लड़ाई हो गई. ठीक है. Bickering. छोटी छोटी चीजों पर बहस करना. Why do you bicker on trivial issues? Okay. Tiff भी छोटी छोटी चीजों पर लड़ाई करना. He had a tiff with his manager again. Okay. Brawl. काफी ज्यादा bad tempered quarrel. They had a brawl. Okay. Fracas is a noisy quarrel. What is this fracas about? Scuffle, proper ladai, scuffling. Ruckus. अब ruckus जरूरी नहीं है सिर्फ हमेशा लड़ाई के सेंस में ही हो. What is this ruckus? आप किसी chaos या किसी भी टाइप के commotion को भी ruckus बोल सकते हो. Wrangle, quarrel noisily. Hassle. Duel. Duel is between two persons, especially. Skirmish. Skirmish is पंगे हैं. And periodic irregular fights हो रही है, especially sometimes between armies. Okay, but लोगों के लिए भी आप use कर सकते हो. It's not limited to using it with armies. Bun fight, heated argument or exchange. Take up the hatchet is a very nice one. To begin or resume hostilities or to prepare to go for war. Hatchet actually क्या होता था? Hatchet एक weapon होता है. So when you take up the hatchet, you're ready to wage a war. एंड इसी को कहते हैं, इसी का एक एक्सटेंडेड रिलेटेड इडियम है bury the hatchet. Bury the hatchet is to end the war. Okay. So आप देख रहे हैं मैं आपको पका पकाया माल दे रही हूँ. Please, I'm serving things to you in a platter. You just have to hog it, right? And do it ASAP. It's not too difficult. 1 to 2 rounds of revision will help you master these words. Okay, words related to laziness. Interesting. All right, people. So, well, this is something that often affects us whenever we try to cover vocabulary, whenever we try to solve English. We often are lazy. We are laid back, right? Isse please picha chudao. Okay, some nice words. Lassitude, listless, loafing, lethargic. Many L words here. Lackadaisical, languor. Languor is a noun form. इसका adjective form हो जाता है languid. Right? So आप में बहुत ही ज़्यादा एक tiredness है और so you have so much of fatigue and you have lack of interest. काफी laziness तो lack of interest से आ जाती है. So that's very nicely depicted by the word languid. Okay, slacking. Torpor, state of mental or physical inactivity. Torpid, कुछ नहीं करना है, वेल्ले बैठे हैं, बस lazing around. Okay. Even when you're slacking, you're trying to evade work, avoid work. Evade क्या होता है? Avoid ही होता है. Ennui. Now, ennui word is slightly different है. Ennui actually means boredom also. इसका मतलब boredom भी होता है. But often this is a feeling of, doing nothing because you have nothing to do. So feeling bored and you're feeling lazy and you are feeling like languid. ये होता है ennui. So ennui is typically when you are not occupied at all and you're feeling lazy, low, bored. That is ennui. It's a noun. Right? Fainéance, the trait of being idle. And why? Because you're reluctant to work. पता नहीं humans में बहुत laziness inherent है. So many of us are like, driven to work. Okay, खुद से शायद हम काम ही ना करें. So that emotion that you want to avoid work, you don't want to do anything, you're feeling very lazy is fainéance. Fainéant would be the adjective. Procrastination, we all know. Procrastination is slightly different from lazy. We all know that, right? तो जब आप चीजों को टाले जा रहे हो, which all the students do. अच्छा, deadline क्या है? 15th November, अभी तो time है, बाद में कर लेंगे, right? So ये procrastination है. You're sluggish, you're lazy, you're indolent, you're slow and lazy. Slothful is so easy to remember. Have you seen the animal sloth? Sloth को देखा आपने? Sloth is an animal. उसको YouTube वीडियो देखिएगा. हमारे कंट्री में तो नहीं पाए जाते. Very slow, very lazy. They don't like to move at all. Fine, इसी से बना slothful. So slothful is resembling a sloth, lacking energy, enthusiasm. Listless is you're too tired or you're not interested in doing anything. Loafing is interesting word. When you loaf around, you're escaping work. Okay, so loafers, you're loafing, you're avoiding work. Okay, lethargic, we already know, lacking energy and enthusiasm. So please, people, make a sentence on ennui. That's your task. Please understand, ये आपके लिए beneficial है. When you know how to use a word and when you revise words, only then can you master vocabulary, not otherwise. All right? And जो भी words मैंने लिए हैं, I am reiterating and repeating it for the second time, I believe, or maybe the third time. All the words that I have cherry-picked are very important ones, right? And they have been coming in your examination, so it's a must that you go through this list very sincerely. Take it seriously, class. Words related to being miserly, that means stingy हो रहे हो आप, कंजूस हो रहे हो, है ना? आजकल जब inflation is at an all-time high, unemployment is plaguing our country. In such a situation, I think हो ही जाता है. We are a little more prudent with our money. We are more economical in our ways. But जब आप वाकई में आपका एक disposition ही ऐसा है कि आप हैं ही कंजूस, That is when these words are befitting you, right? So frugal is someone who is very economical, very careful with money. बहुत सोच समझ के पैसा खर्चा करना, बहुत बहुत, ठीक है. Penurious, now penurious is slightly different. Penury is poverty. So when तुम्हारे पास पैसा ही नहीं है तो तुम कैसे खर्च करोगे? So obviously you are being indigent, you're being penurious, you are impecunious, as we say, because you don't have money. So obviously you will be very miserly with it. There's a difference, right? Stinting, avoiding waste. Stingy, conjuice, unwilling to spend. Penny pinching. Stingy के साथ मैंने याद किया, stingy की बहन मिंजी, दोनों एक जैसी. Bean counter. बीन काउंटर, एक एक चीज, एक एक दाना गिनना समझ लो. बीन काउंटर, that's how you can remember it. Impecunious, again similar to penurious. When you don't have money, then obviously you may be hard up and then you will not spend, you will be very unwilling to spend. फर्क है, किसी के पास पैसा होके भी उसकी टेंडेंसी होती है to save money and they are very frugal. That's a different thing, but you have to understand कि here they don't have money. Parsimonious. Parsimonious. What is parsimony? As I say, पर्स में मनी. हम चाहते हैं हमारे पर्स में मनी रहे, बढ़ती रहे, कभी खत्म ना हो, पर्स से निकालना ही ना पड़े मनी, है ना? We don't want to spend money at all. That's a very parsimonious attitude. Close fisted, tight fisted, again very easily. इनको मैंने इसलिए नहीं लिखा because they're all synonyms almost. Like impecunious छोड़ के बाकी सारे synonyms हैं. Thrifty also means the same. Conjuice. Hand की बात करते हैं, close fisted. हम हिंदी में भी बोलते हैं उसका बड़ा खुला हाथ है, खुले हाथ से खर्च करता है. Open fisted. बंद हाथ से खर्च करता है. यार हाथ ही नहीं, उसका हाथ तंग है, हाथ तंग है किसी का तो वो खर्चा नहीं करता. तो बड़े क्लोज फिस्टेड है या टाइट फिस्टेड है. आई होप दिस मच इज क्लियर. Okay, words for huge size. All these words actually represent huge size, something which is of a huge scale or size. So words that you already know are gigantic, probably extensive. सबको पता होगा. Colossal. Colossal is also huge size. Colossal. Hefty, more of body type, a hefty person, right? Bulky. Hulk. Hulk से याद रखो, हल्की है ना, bulk बहुत ज्यादा हो. Mammoth, very very huge. Astronomical. This is of an astronomical scale, as we say. मतलब astronomical scale मतलब आप space और universe के expanse को can you envisage? Certainly not, right? तो एस्ट्रोनॉमिकल यूनिट्स यूज कर रहे हैं हम, मतलब कोई चीज इज ऑफ अ ह्यूज स्केल, राइट? कंसिडरेबल, ठीक है, नॉर्मल वर्ड है, उसको इतना इंपॉर्टेंस नहीं देना है. एलिफेंटाइन, ऑफ कोर्स एलिफेंट से याद रखिए, एलिफेंटाइन. ओके, एंड लेट मी टेल यू देयर इज अ वर्ड लेवाइथन. लेवाइथन भी लिटरेचर से आया, एक्चुअली बिब्लिकल क्रीचर था एक. इट वाज अ सी मॉन्स्टर. A monster, a very huge giant-like animal that lived in the sea, Leviathan. तो आज की देर में, आज के दौर में लार्ज या पावरफुल एंटिटी को हम लेवाइथन बोलते हैं. माउंटेनियस, माउंटेन से याद रखें, रिजेंबलिंग अ माउंटेन इन साइज, समथिंग व्हिच इज ह्यूज. ह्यूमंगस इज अ वेरी नाइस वर्ड. Ginormous, I connected it with enormous. So ginormous is enormous. Gargantuan again is huge. Nice word. And that's all, right? So I hope students, बहुत सारे words हमने याद किए हैं. These words are more than 100. Trust me, you sit down and count. And I'm very, very hopeful that you will take the session seriously. Please share it with other friends. I'm sure this is going to benefit a lot. The way I've explained the words, the way I have formed clusters for you. Aapka kaam maine kar diya. And all the best. Give it a good revision. And please, please, I will be waiting for the assignments I've given you. जो words मैंने आपसे बोले sentence बनाने के लिए, write to me in the comment section. That's all for today. Thank you.